It's time to talk about pikmes who turn into toxic moms. And a lot of time, toxic boy moms. And make sure to check out the F the Nice Guy podcast. Now, the last couple episodes of the podcast, toxic boy moms and toxic moms has come up a lot. So let's break it down. This could be multiple parts, so buckle up. Let's go back all the way to the start, when the mom is a pikme. So it's important to remember that becoming a pikme is a way that some women survive in the schmogenistic society we're in. They know that they're a girl, and they know that men think less of girls, so they want to separate themselves from women. As in, yes, I'm a woman, but I'm different. I'm a better girl. I'm the best girl. And because they always want to be picked, then all other women become competition, which is often why they will throw women under the bus. And to be picked, they will be performative in their schmogyny, all for the sake of male validation and male approval. Getting picked. Because of this, and because they constantly throw women under the bus, they usually don't know how to have healthy relationships with women. They are not girls. You will hear them say things like, I just don't get along with girls. There's so much drama. Sometimes they're just mirroring what the guys say. And sometimes there's drama because girls call them out on not being a girl's girl. And I'm telling you all this because the origin story is very important to understand when it comes to toxic boy moms or just toxic moms in general. So what happens when these women get picked and they end up being married? Well, I'll tell you one thing, the marriages are not happy. Part of being a pikme is that you basically agree to whatever men say. You pretend your opinion is their opinion. You will do anything for male validation, which often means accepting atrocious behavior and pretending to like things for their approval, i.e., you like their hobbies, you like what they drink. But this can mean that pikmes get into lives they hate because they've pretended to be someone they're not in order to get validation, but also they rarely are saying no to men. Also, often, the men that they pair with are incredibly schmogenistic because they're like, oh, this one gets it. I want to pair with this girl who validates my incredibly negative and toxic beliefs about women, so I feel better about myself. Then they end up in bad marriages because those type of men do not treat women well. And outside of that, they don't have support systems of other women because they don't know how to have healthy friendships. Women will always be competition or someone to throw under the bus to gain ground with men. So often they are very isolated and very lonely. And then she has children. That's going to be the main focus of this conversation because as much as I do care about women who fall in the pikme to toxic parent pipeline, I more so care about their children and the people who deal with their children because a lot of times the big old misogynist man baby nice guys have toxic boy moms. But I will also be talking about what happens when pikmes raise daughters. So let's first talk about what happens when the toxic boy mom has a boy, obviously. And believe me, I have a lot to say as someone who's dated many of these man babies. So as we said in the last video, the pikme gets married, usually is either in like a very bad relationship where she's not supported by her husband, or sometimes ends up being a single mom because the guy sucks. She has a son. What does a pikme crave? Validation and unconditional adoration from men. And now she has a little baby boy who can be all of that for her. The unconditional acceptance and love she has craved, she now has in her arms. A boy who will pick her over all others. Some even say, in the darkest take of this, they raise the man they wish they had. That gives me nightmares. Regardless, this is a very sick and codependent relationship. These are the men that turn into, as Melanie Hamlet says, king babies. These are often the dudes that will say things like, I want a wife that's like my mom was, or my grandma was, that did X, Y, and Z and never complained and loved it. That's because these moms are rarely honest about what they're struggling with, particularly when it comes to raising their precious baby boys. They will do anything and everything for them and never complain because they love the validation. They continue the pick-me behavior with their child. But again, they are fostering a dependence by doing everything for him and him expecting that, then he never learns to do anything on his own. I.e., he will always need mommy. Now, my beautiful, lovely, naive wife was talking to me about this very issue of, women potentially maybe raising the man they would want. And she said, well, at least then they will raise good men, right? Men will be good partners, right? No. A lot of times these boys who grow into man baby men will think that what the mom does is not just like mommy behavior, but woman behavior, what women should do and what it means to take care of men. So they set up this false idea. They also often will not ever critique their sons. So their sons will think they're the sun and the moon and the stars because mommy told them so. And when you critique that boy later, he will go to mommy and mommy will say, no, that's just her. You're perfect. You're wonderful. She's just a... But what happens when you start to date this toxic man baby? And I do mean man because most of the guys I dated like this were men. Well, number one, there's 3 people in the relationship at all times. And additionally, the mom sees you as competition because 1, that's the only way she sees other women and has always since the pick-me-hood of her younger days. And 2, you are stealing her baby boy. These are the moms that use love songs with their son on this app. And we'll talk about like stealing him away. I was his first love. We don't have the time to unpack this. But something important to remember is that toxic boy moms do not see their son's love as unlimited, his attention, his time, any of that. They have a scarcity mindset, which is that if you are getting their son's love, time, and attention, then you are taking that from them. But they're not always going to be rude to you or mean to you right off the bat. Often, some of the most toxic boy moms are actually very nice to the girlfriend at first. This could be because they are trying to please the son still. Like, I'm the best mom. Look how much your girlfriend likes me. Look how good I am to your girlfriend. They will bring you in close. This is also a way that they can manipulate you once you are like, in their little mama bird feathers. Yeah, I do have personal drama about this. Why do you ask? But again, as soon as you get too close to their son, the toxicity begins. So this very toxic relationship goes both ways. The mom puts the son first at all times and therefore expects that the son will put her first. We see this a lot on holidays. Like moms expecting it to be about them. And I don't mean like Mother's Day, like Christmas or whatever. The mom is meant to be the top priority. I've even had weird stuff happen on Valentine's Day. As in the mom wanted to be a part of our Valentine's Day, as in cook us dinner when I was a full-grown adult. Blah. But I digress. Now, how will the son treat you because of this? Well, he'll have incredibly high expectations about what you should be doing as a girlfriend or a wife. Not at all, seeming to understand that you are a girlfriend and not a mother. And mama's not going to have your back on that one because she's going to say, no, this is just what women should do for the men that they love. They will literally get off on the comparison between you and them that, they treat their son so much better. They cook better. They clean better. Honey, you just don't understand him yet. You just don't understand what he needs. Don't worry, I'll help you. So gross. Literally, they will say things like, I guess you just can't do it like your mother. This mom will be all up in your business and will actively try and sabotage your relationship. If there was ever a problem, she will always side with the son. She may even antagonize the situation to take him from you and closer to her. But what if she has a daughter and not a son? And I may be talking to some of those daughters now, where the son is the golden boy, perfect baby angel. The daughter is a mirror. When she looks at the daughter, she will see 2 things. 1, all of the things that she no longer is, particularly like how young the daughter is, how beautiful the daughter is. And you will also be a mirror to all of the traits of herself that she does not like. You will reflect back to her the things that she is, and she will hate you for it. Again, pikmes see other women as competition, and that does not change for their own children. Usually it's around the time that the child leaves like the baby toddler phase that the mom will change how she sees her entirely. This can go into really nasty behaviors. I had a friend in high school whose mom was like this, and like she would limit her food intake. She would watch her calories. She would be hypercritical of everything about her appearance, despite the fact that the mom did none of those things for herself. That's the part where she will hate you for the things she no longer has. Or she may live vicariously through you. But a lot of times it's the gnarlier, darker side where she will punish you. She will thrust her insecurities on you. All of that internalized schismogeny will become a part of how you are raised. And it hurts in a very darker way when it's coming from a woman, particularly your own mother. Now, if there are multiple children, it gets even worse. If there is a boy and a girl, she will always side with the boy. Often the girl will become the glass child, meaning her emotions and her feelings do not matter. The mom sees right through her. She will often be expected to do chores and a lot of like women's work style things that the boy will not have to do because he's the perfect baby boy. Her own emotions, desires, and dreams will not matter to the mom unless they align with the mom herself or somehow they aid the boy. I'm not going to talk as much about this, but pikme women can also be incredibly dangerous as parents. On the most nefarious end, picking men over their children and letting men be bad to their children. Coming back more into the less nefarious version of this, the ideas that a pikme woman has, or the internalized misogyny that she has not unpacked, is very dangerous to pass down to her sons or her daughters, or any gender, but we're going to stay within the gender because we're talking about misogyny. This can be a problem, particularly like in consent conversations. To the boy, she often teaches him he deserves everything, he's entitled to everything, a woman should give everything to him. He is used to going unquestioned and unchallenged and may continue to want to be that way into adulthood. A daughter of this toxic mom may think that she is meant to be subservient to men, that it is her job to take care of them. And instead of seeing it as pick-me behavior, she may identify it as womanhood in general, as in this is how a woman should behave. But another part of the consent is that a child cannot consent to this treatment from their parent. They cannot consent to this emotionally incestuous relationship. And it is a relationship in which no child really learns boundaries. The boy of this mom, again, is incredibly entitled, feels incredibly justified. He will usually be a misogynist, but he won't even identify it as that. He will just identify it as that's the way it is because that's the way mommy taught him. Now again, this is not taking away from any of the blame on the baby man. He could choose to do better. He could choose to learn better. He could choose to be better, and he doesn't because he enjoys the dynamic. He enjoys the fact that no matter what happens, he won't have to be accountable because he will turn to mommy and she will back him. He enjoys not ever hearing no. He enjoys that everything is taken care of for him. And that is why when he's met with pushback from a woman in a relationship, he does not change. He blames her or he goes back to mommy. She is the problem, not him. And God help any girlfriend or partner that goes to his mother for advice. At the nicest, she will say things like, well, that's just how he is. I don't like it either, but he's just got that temperament. He's just got that temper. He just is a little picky. He just needs a moment. If you could just understand where he's coming from. On the more nefarious side, they may defend and actually manipulate the girl. They will be a tool for triangulation against the girl so she feels like she's crazy. And again, often they dealt with and suffered from men in order to be picked And so they will defend that behavior and not say anything wrong with it. And they will try to get the girl to also agree that that behavior is okay. Now, when it comes to the daughter will often have really bad boundaries. The toxic mother who is a pikme or was a pikme teaches them to have bad boundaries. They will want to be enmeshed with her. They will want her to be dependent on her, much like they will with the toxic boy. They're often incredibly demanding and critical to foster that dependence. The daughters will feel like, which is often true, they don't have a choice and they don't have a say. They don't have a voice. It then makes consent a foreign idea to them. Boundaries are a foreign idea to them. They believe their role is to be submissive, and that will follow them into their relationships. Again, the bigger point being, if their mom is their main influence, they don't see this as like pick-me behavior. They don't see this as internalized misogyny. They see this as, this is how all women behave. This is what is expected of all women. And that proves very, very harmful in their relationships. And even the most well-meaning mom who has not unpacked their internalized misogyny will pass that to their daughter. They will pass those beliefs. They will pass those excuses. They will absolutely excuse that bad behavior from men with the idea of like, that's just how men are. And both a son and a daughter will have that very gendered idea. Men are this, women are this. And this will be a problem when they grow up with their partners. And as I said before, these toxic boy moms raise these king babies, and dating them is a nightmare. So hopefully this has been enlightening or has given you some background into how these toxic man babies are formed and why their mothers behave the way that they do.